Wow, I'm looking at all those pictures. All those pictures back when I was blonde, I was red. I can't wait to go back to red. I haven't seen my natural hair color in so long. I don't know what's going on. So many memories, so much time. And now, Tristan, we sit at 8 years. You're tuned into your favorite. I'm never lying. I don't know why you people always think I'm pulling your chain here, but I'm never lying. Your favorite sports podcast, Rolling with Ramos, is back for another week. I happen to be the one that holds the last name Ramos. I would like to specifically thank our logo. In my world, Michael Ramos is Jerry West. My dad, love you. I miss you every day. Thank you for being our flagship and let me share you with the world. Episode 143. This is not your regular show here. Way back when in 2017, February 27th to be exact, because this is an exact date. I don't know if our birthday falls in a leap year. Are we 4 years behind or 4 years early? Somebody explain that to me because I never understood that. Anyways, are you 5 or are you 36? Anyways, I said this to a friend of mine. I said, I want to start a podcast. I think I'm ready. I think I have something to say. I feel like people will be receptive to me. I want to show people sports through the way I see it. And I want to bring it to the forefront. He said, I got some equipment. I started a podcast and come to the crib. I got some people that want to talk sports too. Maybe I can hook you up with this person as a co-host. I didn't have a co-host yet. Fast forward, we did this out of a house, on a couch, 1 mic, 2 mic, 3 mic. We weren't even visual yet. It was just on Apple Podcasts. It wasn't even on Apple Podcasts. I don't even remember what we was putting it on for people to hear it and promoting it. I remember sitting at the Four Seasons Baltimore when I was working in there, and I went into a hallway and sat on the stairs, and I said, and I texted Tristan. The text ended up turning into a call because 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks prior to that, we did a show called The Flex Zone together. And that's where we met. Our relationship began. And I said, Tristan, do you want to join me? Do you want to be my co-host? Do you mind doing this show with me? Not only did he buy into me, he bought into the show. 100 episodes later, freaking 50 episodes later, 1, 2, 3, 4 cupcakes. We had cookies. Here we are, 8 years later, blowing out 8 years of them things. We went away. We came back. Y'all know my story. And you guys still was sitting there waiting for us. Episode 143, the inaugural episode. Tristan, happy birthday.
I know it's crazy. It's crazy how that was so long ago, and so much changed since then. Uh, but we've been rocking, and I remember when you asked me to do it, and I was so excited. I was still heavy in sports media, so I was all for it, and it's been great. Some of the people that we've interviewed, and doing a show with you, and how it's grown our friendship and all that stuff. It's been awesome. So here's to 100 more. I mean, this is like I said, this is great. I mean, we get to talk about it unfiltered, uncut, and we give the real deal with facts. And like I said, it's been a pleasure working with you, doing this thing. Like, yeah, 100 more. I'm just like, let's do it.
I'm appreciative of you continuing to answer my phone calls and my texts. You know, he's being modest, people. You know what's up. He's a star. It's never really about me. It's about him. And no, all jokes aside, what we've done together is together. And I'm thankful from the bottom of my heart. All right, well, with all that aside, you done turned me into a crybaby. America knows I'm a thug. Anyways, we got to we're here to do what we're here to do, which is talk some sports. If you're worried about whether the Philadelphia Eagles are going to the White House or not, before they got the invitation, they already were saying they wasn't going. So I'm not sure if you want them guys to go anyway, but just in case you were worrying if they were going. We start in the MLB, Tristan. In recent weeks, I have spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees spanning several eras to elicit their perspectives on our long-standing facial hair and grooming policy, and I appreciate their earnest and varied feedback. These most recent conversations are an extension on ongoing internal dialogue that dates back several years. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow our players and uniform personnel to have well groomed heads moving forward. It is the appropriate time to move beyond the familiar comfort of our former policy. That is a statement from Yankees managing general partner Hal Steinbrenner. Tristan, according to MLB.com, there's a band that's going away with facial hair for the Yankees. The grooming policy dated to George M. Steinbrenner's purchase of the team. As the legend goes, its roots grew in 1973 when Steinbrenner observed his team on the first baseline for opening day against Cleveland. Steinbrenner was not yet the boss. He was so new to the role that he could not identify the players by faces. Instead, he focused upon their hair, unkempt, mustaches, molten chops, and shaggy locks. He scowled, scribbling uniform numbers on a scrap of paper, urgently dispatched to manager Ralph Hoke. Tell those guys to get a haircut, Steinbrenner commanded. Sparky Loud, Thurman Munson, Bobby Mercer, Fritz Peterson, and Roy White all made Steinbrenner's list that day, though waves of rebellion occurred over the years. Munson's 1976 Topps baseball card shows the catcher sporting a full beard, and Goose Gossage's distinctive mustache stemmed from an order to shave. The appearance policy was largely abided. I have nothing against long hair per se, Steinbrenner told the New York Times in 1978, but I'm trying to instill a certain sense of order and discipline in the ball club because I think discipline is important in an athlete. The players can joke about it as long as they do it. Captain Aaron Judge, right-hander Garrett Cole, and designated hitter Giancarlo Stanton, all in favor of the updated policy. Devin Williams, the new guy, the newest Yankees, he comes from Milwaukee. You get to keep yours. You just got to shave it and keep it cool. You don't have to cut it off because he said he hasn't had a clean shave in 6 years. Now, look, fellas, I'm here to say, with the beard or without a beard, I don't care. Preferably with a beard. But you know, this is not the show about that, okay? But the Yankees are taking away their policy on one end for Steinbrenner. You were the new boss. You were in the new role. Get to know the guys. You use the hair policy to do that, and now this done landed about how many years? I don't even want to do the math. Now we're changing it. Not to mention, you're going with the times. You're in a sport where nobody can really take care of themselves and groom themselves consistently all year long. You're playing in these hot climates until it gets a little cooler. And when you look at the landscape of the MLB, we talking about Aaron Judge, you're looking at a more eclectic looking group of guys. So Tristan, I guess as a guy and as a sports fan, as a guy with a nice beard and a fade, how you feel about this Yankees new policy?
I think they got with the times. Like, I, I don't even. Let me be honest. I didn't even know that was a thing with the Yankees. I thought just everybody just played for the Yankees. Everybody just wanted to be clean shaven. I didn't know they actually had a policy about that. And when you look around the league, like you got a bunch of people that's bearded up. You know what I'm saying? Like Bryce Harper, like automatically comes to mind with his beard. Like it's a bunch of these cats. So it's just like for that to be a rule, like what are we like? This ain't the army. You know what I'm saying? Like we're playing a game. We're playing a game. And to be quite honest, and maybe I'm thinking a little too deep. Maybe I'm kind of going too deep in a rabbit hole about this, but really, this should be a major step with Major League Baseball in general of just how they handle the players and letting them have these personalities come out on full display. Because MLB is still like for a lot of people, it's still such an archaic game. Like, and not archaic based on play, but how they handle, you know, the players, how they handle the fan base. Like the people that are baseball fans are really like purists, you know. My dad introduced me to baseball first before any other sport. So as I'm a fan of the sport, but you talk about like the marketing with these guys and all this stuff, like MLB is so far behind um like the NFL, the NBA, even the NHL. Like they're just so far behind as far as how to market these guys. So I hope that something like this with a prestigious club as the Yankees making that change will start to snowball some stuff for the MLB in general.
So I can wear my million upon dollar chain, but I can't keep my facial hair because in baseball, hey, we gonna be sliding in the home with a pennant on, okay? It's gonna be worth
They
some money.
they do be jeweled out.
Jeweled out. Speaking of military, Steinbrenner's attempt to keep this going or how it started came from his own personal military background. So, hey, you thought it was a pretty boy Yankee thing. No, this was actually a rule. Hey, fellas, I don't even like you to cut it off in November.
It's true. It's true. I don't know too many ladies that like when guys cut their beards.
Again, that's another show. We make sure you drop those comments down below. Make sure you talk to us. Our inaugural episode 8 of them things. Kobe's first number. Wait till we get to 24. Anyway, hopefully by 24 we're getting paid. But anyways, you know, we love you. We love to be here. Moving on to some NBA. Newsbreak.com. All right. So unless you were living under a rock, you knew that the All-Star break really wasn't tickling anybody's fancies this year. It's not like everybody was going out their way to go watch this thing. And if anything, what was on first, the NAACP Awards, and a lot of people were saying they were happier that they was watching that before they was watching the All-Star break. Shout out to the Wayans. Comedy. Soldier Boy, I don't know what you're doing out here. I don't know why you want to go back and forth with the Wayans. He got like a million people that can just fire you up on top of himself. Anyways, that's another show. Anyways, NBA. Some would call the All-Star break a total disaster, with fan interest fading and viewership hitting new lows. Despite trying something new for this year's All-Star game, instead of traditional East versus West game, the league introduced a 4-team mini tournament, each featuring 8 players. By the numbers, if we want to talk about how much of a disaster some would say the All-Star break was, The game itself averaged 4.72 million viewers across TNT, TBS, and True TV, which we saw will be their last one of covering the NBA All-Star game. Shout out to Kenny, Chuck, Shaq, Ernie. I can't believe that this is the end of such a dynasty. That's down 13% from last year's 5.40 million and only slightly better than all-time low of 4.59 million in 2023. Given the recent adjustments in Nielsen's outing of home viewing numbers, this year's audience might have been even lower than in 2023. Now, Anthony Edwards did not play. We all know LeBron did not play. And because of this, it sparked some controversy and some words from an NHL legend. Now, NHL legend PK Subban has called out what's wrong with the league, calls out NBA stars' pride in league's culture. We all seen Get Up by this time, so you know what he said, but if you didn't, I'm going to remind you. In the rant that went viral, he talked about the constrained differences between hockey and the NBA. Hockey is a different sport from the NBA. You can't compare the cultures because of the way the league is played. You can step on an NBA floor and go through the motions. You can't do that in hockey. The culture of our sport is that you have to play with passion. You have to be willing to fight, and you have to be willing to leave it all on the ice. That's what the fans are investing in. So for us, when we charge $1,500 for a ticket, fans know what they are getting. Subban's comments came after the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off Championship game between the USA and Canada, which broke viewership records, gathering 9.3 million viewers with 10.4 million watching at its peak. We know the All-Star break numbers already because I just told you it wasn't that great. This was the most viewed game that we've had in years, and you see it. It's because it's not just based on the skill and talent. It's based on pride, honor, and playing for the guy next to you, Subban said. I got a question for the NBA players. What the hell are you playing for? What are you playing for? It's not about the money. You make all the money. What are you injured? There's a difference between hurt and injured. Are you hurt or are you injured? There's a difference. In hockey, we play hurt. We play injured. That is the culture of sports. It has always been that way. The NBA has an issue. Now, we could say, let's start with this first. We could say that there's a difference between reality and a difference between bitterness, because you definitely can hear that we're looking at a difference in the reality of the fact that, hey, maybe we're a little bit upset that these guys won't take the NBA All-Star break a little bit more serious. Hell, I knew the NBA All-Star break wasn't that serious back when Aaron Gordon got robbed, because he got robbed, and people were upset at him for being upset about the dunk contest and how it was taken away from him. They were calling him soft. They were saying, how dare you care so much about a dunk contest when you don't care about a ring this much? He ended up getting that ring, by the way. And they were clowning him for doing this too much. If we want to talk about the predecessors, Subban talked about Kobe, Dominique, Mike. They wanted to not only beat your ass during the All-Star break and be in every skills challenge to show you how great I am. I'm going to play, get myself together, and then I'm going to whoop your ass and win a championship too. They took pride in the All-Star game. I'm not blaming LeBron because it's not just his fault. The man only missed one. At the same time, the culture of this friendly, happy league, where under him, in a sense, these stars, quote unquote, have been able to pick and choose what they want to do. We go back to load management and Kawhi Leonard and how they develop and how they do their seasons. Now we're talking about the All-Star break where you can say you're playing, show up and everybody thinks you're playing. We can show you a jersey. in the room and you not even put it on. John Morant comes out with comments, and Aaron Gordon, when they talk about the All-Star break and what Matt was able to do with the dunk contest, and say, hey, I still got one in me. Maybe I should do it. Even though they say that, I don't believe a damn thing they saying. The stars do not buy in to the All-Star break anymore, which is fairly made it boring because we need them to do it. This is not the age of the Vince Carter. You knew who Vince Carter was before that dunk contest, but after that dunk contest, you knew who Vince was. This is lost. So, Tristan, the reality of what he said is true, but the undertone of bitterness and we're just mad because you can do this and we can't. Where do we decipher the difference? What do you got to say about this?
I mean, what do I have to say about it is, did he lie? Like, did he lie? Listen, this was the first year, and I
Shout out to
honestly
Noah
say this.
Brown.
Right. This is the first year, and I'm honestly saying this, and it's not exaggeration. This was the first year that I legit had to remind myself that the NBA All Star Weekend was the that weekend. This was I was actually more looking more forward to um the celebrity game only because of the fact that I knew it was going to be funny. Like that was the only reason. I didn't even watch the actual All Star game itself. I didn't want to watch the dunk contest because I knew McClung was going to win it again. Um, I didn't watch the 3-point contest. I just we're old enough to remember what watching Stephon Marbury and Allen Iverson go back and forth. You know, we're old enough to remember, Kobe Bryant just in the fourth quarter just locking in because he wanted to make sure that his team won. You know what I'm saying? And it was actually Kobe versus Stephon Marbury going back and forth on those deep threes. And so like remember seeing Tracy McGrady. We remember watching Michael Jordan and Kobe when they were like first was, really on the floor on during the All-Star game, and they talking, Kobe trying to teach him how, you know, Mike, you couldn't guard me. And Mike was like, I'd have got you right there in the rib cage and all that stuff. Like we remember those moments. And I just don't know. I think Subban said it right. It's like, where's your pride? Like, where is the competitive fervor? Like, there are how many teams in the NBA? How many teams in the NBA? It was a 30, right?
32.
Okay,
About 30,
so
32. Yeah.
you're right. So and then of those teams is what 15 players altogether on the team.
Yeah.
So arguably, you're talking about out of the entire, not even the country, the entire world, right? There are only 400. So let's say 30 teams. There's only 450 players in the NBA. Of that 450, there's an upper echelon of players that are the All Stars. Why, as a basketball fan, wouldn't I want to see these All Stars at their best compete? And I think one thing he said that was so key was, you guys have guaranteed contracts.
Mm.
I understand that you're trying to make sure that you're healthy for your franchise. Your coaches want to make sure you're healthy for your franchise, try to go for a championship and all that stuff. But God forbid if something happened that you twisted an ankle or whatever, you were out for a little while. You still got a guaranteed contract. You're not losing money. You're not losing money. John Wall made $178 million for 2 years doing nothing, chilling at the house, chilling at the crib. And that's not a slight to John Wall. That's my guy. But I'm saying, like, you guys, once y'all sign that contract, that's y'all money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where is the energy? Where is the fervor? Where is the, like, oh, you think you the best two-way guard? I'm the best two-way guard in the league. Let's see who gonna go at it. Oh, you think you the best big man in the league? Nah, I'm the best big man. Let's see what it is. Let's see let's settle it right here on the court. Like, where's that energy coming from? And you talking about something you don't necessarily blame LeBron. I do, because I think LeBron
I was trying to
not
be nice, but I do.
no
I was trying to be
because
nice,
as
but I do. This
no because
friendly, do as
as
you
much
please,
as
do as you want. It's
as much
yeah,
as as much as I credit LeBron for a lot of different things. He's been an amazing ambassador for the game of basketball. You couldn't ask for a better face of a league
yeah,
than LeBron. How he deals with his family, how he deals with his business, how he deals with his philanthropy, and then being, one of the two best players to ever play the game. Like you couldn't ask for a better face. But when it comes to the All-Star weekend, LeBron ruined that. You refusing to be in the dunk contest did a snowball effect for how everybody treats the All Star Weekend in general. You knew that every superstar, Jordan, Kobe, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Shaq, Dwight Howard, even guys like Nate Robinson, Spud Webb, Dominique Wilkins, all like the names that we would hear, all of these guys did that. All of these guys did that. They all did the dunk at least once. Some did it multiple times, but at least one time we got to see the best player. It's a crime that we never saw LeBron
yeah.
be in a dunk contest. It's a crime that we haven't seen Ja Morant. It's a crime that we haven't seen Anthony Edwards in it. It's a crime that we haven't seen Zion Williamson in it. Like the last great dunk contest was Aaron Gordon versus Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
That was really it. That was the last one. And that was what, 2016 or something like that? Like so
Not to mention the level of risking injury. They ain't give a damn about risking no injury during the All Star break. We going and we playing.
yeah. And you guys are professionals. You guys are professionals. So to you know how to do this without getting yourselves hurt. Yeah, things happen, but you guys know how to compete without hurting yourself. Them guys back in the
See
day
if my
didn't worry
boy can
about
come back here.
they didn't worry about that. So I'm just like, where where is the like be a competitor? Where is that? Where is wanting to compete just to compete? Where's that energy? So that's how I feel about it. That's what it stirs me up. And like I said, Subban had every right to state what he stated about it because it's facts. I mean, it's facts. The NHL don't take off.
I've seen have lost Tristan. One
Oh, you
second.
did? Hold on.
See if he meets me back.
Hold on one second. Dealing with some technical difficulties, guys.
There we are.
You got me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it might have been on your end because their comments said they still heard me, so it might have been on your
Okay.
end. But I got you
Yeah,
back.
I
I
couldn't
got you
hear
back.
you.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I got you back.
Hey
Basically
guys.
what
Live
basically
TV.
that's it. That's it. No, basically what I was saying was, where is that fervor and that intensity? Like, NHL they don't take breaks on the ice. Listen, if you try to have tail playing hockey, you gonna be somebody's basically dummy bag. Like that's basically what's gonna happen. You're gonna be somebody's dummy bag. So Subban had every correct way of what he said. He was correct in all phases. And this is coming from someone that not only was a NHL player, but he was an enforcer. So he knows he ain't this ain't a soft person here. This was the one that was bringing the boom on the ice. So I ain't disagree. And what was more telling was that the entire week when he was talking about it, there was not one person that could refute him. That should tell you something, NBA players. Not all the analysts that love the NBA, not a single one of them said anything to refute what he was saying.
Kendrick Perkins tried, but we wasn't going for that.
Don't don't nobody want to hear that. The reason why don't nobody want to hear that is because you had these legends that did it all.
Yeah.
They were
And it,
willing to try. They were willing to try to push for the 82 games and play in the All Star and do the All Star individual skills as well as playing the game and play hard. Like you can't. What makes you so different now to them then? Y'all making quadruple of the money that they made back then. So what makes you so different now that you're so, oh, I need to take care of my body, or I need to do this, or I need to do this.
Michael
Listen,
Jordan didn't give a damn about his body.
ain't nobody care about that. Coaches, listen, coaches used to always say, hey, look, your body got to get used to the pounding. It's got to get used to feeling that. You know what I'm saying? You got to, it's how it's going to toughen you up,
Yeah.
so that you can handle the rigors of the season. So what are we talking about here?
How do you feel about the hit the NBA has taken in recent years? Noah Brown came out. These aren't world athletes, and even when he said it, I was, well. How do you feel about a guy like Carmelo Anthony in Olympic play? He's one of the best in basketball Olympians to ever play. Like, where does the conversation of the NBA fall into how other sports see themselves? It's taken a couple of strays. First Noah, and now Subban.
Well, the difference between the NBA and a lot of the other sports is you can take fundamentals out of the game. Because if you're an incredible athlete, there's nothing. At least you got at least a good 3-4 years in the NBA to make noise, just by being an incredible athlete. You only get exposed as you get older when the athleticism start to go. Now we got to see your skill, but it's the one sport where your athleticism can overshadow your skill for a long period of time. You can't do that in football. You can't just out athlete everybody. There's fundamentals that has to maintain. You can't do that in baseball. There's a skill that has to be maintained in baseball. I don't care how strong you are, but if you don't know how to time the ball before you swing, it don't matter. If you can't hit a curve, I don't care how many bombers you can get hit with a fastball, but if you can't hit a curve, you're no good. Like those are things that matter. Basketball, if you can jump, you can kind of get away with some stuff. I'm not saying, and it's not to be disrespectful. I'm not saying that like anybody can play in the NBA because that's not the case. Like I said, 450 people play in the league out of the thousands and thousands of people that want to be NBA players. There's only 450. So I'm not here to poo-poo that. What I'm saying is though is that we have gotten to a place now where these young guys all they pay attention to is ISO ball, shooting a long three, or if you're a freakish athlete, you're just trying to jump over everybody. We used to, as much as we love Ja, watching Ja do, we used to say it all the time his rookie year when he'd be trying to jump over these 6'10", 7-footers and how he would land. And we're like, man, he ain't gonna last 6 years.
Yeah.
His body's not gonna handle that. Or you got all these players that wanna, as soon as they step beyond half court, they want to shoot a three. We're not setting screens. We're not setting picks. We're not rotating. We're not passing the ball. We're not moving around. We're not doing the classic post up. I mean, when was the last time we really seen a big be a big for real? Like be a big.
Are they
You know
even
what I'm saying?
are they even in the league anymore? That
I mean,
breed died out.
exactly.
Nobody's in the
Like
paint no
what
more.
happened exactly? What happened to a big that would be in the paint and be like, right here, I got it. Like we don't see those things. So that's the issue that we're watching is like I legit don't have to sit and watch a full NBA game. I can go on Instagram, look at the highlights of the game, and I pretty much got the gist of it. Because there's no motion, there's no flow, there's no rhythm in the game anymore. It's just a bunch of highlight reels. So I can literally go on Instagram, watch a couple highlights, and I'll know everything that happened with the game.
Speaking of the game in its truest form, um, I don't want to make this a he versus her thing. This isn't about males versus females.
But what you're about
However,
to say is correct. What you're about to say is
when
correct.
you're looking at Unrivaled and what's been taking place over there, and this is a quintessential all-star league that's not even in the real season of the WNBA. WNBA season ain't even started yet. And look what's going on in Miami right now.
Yeah.
This is what the all-star break should be if that's the format you're trying to run. First of all, go back to East and West, let everybody wear their own uniforms. The week was nostalgic looking back versus watching the damn game and seeing what's new. It's in its own right. Anthony Edwards, I couldn't even believe that you didn't play. How many have you even been in? Like, I thought you would at least would have played. But again, this isn't about male versus female. But in this, though, could the guys be able to participate? You talking about one-on-ones? You talking about 3-on-3s? Would the guys be able to put their ego aside like the women have and be even involved in something like that?
No.
That was quick.
No. They got to see what the money hitting on. 2, they're gonna be like, so y'all want us to play an in season tournament, all-star game. Some of us to play the Olympics when that year comes around, and you want us to do this? They're not gonna go for that. They're not gonna go for that. The fact that we're even having a conversation of All-Star Weekend, put an incentive in to make the players play harder. I gotta pay you more than I'm already paying you. When some of y'all are making like 200 something or 300 million fully guaranteed, I gotta pay you even more to make you want to compete. Are we serious? That's where we are as a league. And I'm all for players getting their money. I'm all for players getting their money because they're the ones that's putting their body on the line. They're the ones that sacrificing all the time and energy and all that stuff. I get it, but I gotta pay you. You're getting fully guaranteed money. Fully guaranteed. There's a reason the NFL operates. The players in the NFL operate the way they operate. It's because they know they can get cut anytime and that money be gone. That's not like that in the NBA. They can trade you. They can do whatever they want. That check's still gonna come every Tuesday. It's still gonna show up on your direct deposit. So what are we talking about? So no, the reason why we're getting in a place where the WNBA and the women of the WNBA, you could see that they're playing because they love the game. They love it and they love to compete against each other. That trash talking that they've been doing this past week, you think that's not getting ratings? We love to see it. Yes, Angel Reese, keep trolling. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Skylar Diggins, Skylar Diggins, keep talking that talk. Like, that's what we like to see. We want that energy, and we don't see that energy enough in the NBA. We getting all these guys, everybody's buddies and pals. They planning vacations with each other and all that stuff. We don't get to see them trash talking. People say what they want about Chris Paul. I like Chris Paul being a jerk. We need more jerks. We want to see that. We want to see people be antagonized and going at it like that. That's what we want to see. But it don't happen in the NBA.
No.
They just count their money. And again, I'm not listen, make your money. But man, give the one. There was an interview, and you've probably seen it more than likely. Kobe had an interview. And they asked Kobe. I forgot it was one of the years where he had finger, knee, shoulder, everything was going on. And they asked him like, why didn't he try to take like a couple weeks off, few weeks off or whatever. And he said he remembers when he was young. And he remembered when he was in the bleachers watching I forgot who he's watching play. And remembers the feeling of seeing that person on floor. I don't think it was Dr. J. It might have been Dr. J, but I don't recall. But it was seeing someone on the floor, and he said he just feels like he would run into a situation or a space where he'd be at a game, and there's somebody's parent that worked so hard to get those tickets to bring their kid to come watch me play. So how dare I sit and they don't come see me play? They might have worked the entire 2-3 paychecks to get the tickets that they got. to bring their child to come watch me play. That's why I do it. Another person that has that same mentality in today's NBA is Jason Tatum. He's the same way. He says, I don't know when with some of the away games. They're like, why don't you just take a break on some of the away games? He said, because I don't know who's there that came only to see me. Some of these cities, he's like, I'm probably going to see once or twice a season. So those once or twice a season that someone bought a ticket with my jersey, wearing my jersey to the stadium, and I not play, ain't going. It won't sit well with him. Like that's the kind of players that you want. That's the kind of players that you want to see. And I get it. Yes, you're being mindful of your health. You're trying to conserve your body, especially if your team's trying to make a run and you're the star. And I get all that. But man, where is that fire to say, let me compete?
Yeah.
Let me battle. You know what I'm saying? Like I live for that. Like, where is that? And we don't see that a lot in the NBA nowadays. We really don't.
Summer 16 was a damn good summer. You got Drake. You had freaking, first of all, Drake, you got in the middle of the best pick of all time. Sit down and that. We ain't even going to get it again. Kobe versus LeBron and All-Star break. Sit your ass down. But anyways, you got that. You had Levine. You had Gordon. And now we don't even know. Now, even if these stars try to buy it into the All-Star break, you too old to be giving us what we thought you was going to give us a couple of years ago. Ja, you come straight out the league. You come straight into the league. Yeah, we want a dunk contest out of you. LeBron never even tried it. He didn't even try the skills. I'm not sure to where this is going to go, but we'll see what happens. You're tuned in to your favorite episode, on your favorite podcast, Rolling with Ramos, episode 143, because it's still Black History Month. Last time we paid homage to Jackie Robinson, that was 42. And now we play homage to us, because you know what? This is episode 143, the inaugural edition, because we celebrating 8 years. 8 of them things. We celebrating 8 of them things.
That's right.
We celebrating 8 of them things, 8 years. And again, truly, truly, truly thankful to you for staying with us, always like making sure that you know what's going on with us over the years and everything. We are truly grateful for that. I couldn't have dreamed out of my wildest dreams what this show would have done, would have become. Hell, there's some podcasts that don't even land. And to see that we're actually still sitting here, we're actually still here, we're still moving along, we're on the road to 200. Don't worry, we'll get to 150 eventually, but we're on the way. Speaking
Right.
of a team that we're talking about passion, we're talking about being forthright. This team don't even add to that list when we talk about the NBA. It's about time we start talking about the Sixers, Tristan. Shams Charania reported Sunday that the organization and oft-injured Joel Embiid are considering alternative options to fix the big man's knee, including surgery. Philadelphia, you know what? Hey, look, I'm not mad at it. It's either one thing rocking or the other thing's not. We're happy with what's going on in DC and what your general manager's doing in DC, okay? And if we're anything alike, hey, the basketball teams can burn. We're football cities. Philadelphia is currently 20 and 36. Somehow, Tristan, they're still good enough to be within 1.5 games of the final play-in spot. Would you even want to play in it? But also reflective of a season that appears to be lost. They are now at the point where it may be more beneficial to rebuild than try to one more time to win a title with this core. Stephen A., he had a lot to say about the Sixers Sunday on ESPN's NBA Countdown. I know a lot of people that work on that show. You guys are doing a great job. America, you don't give a damn about the Sixers, and neither do we. Wendy Wendy told you. We all know who Windhurst is. He told you what to do. He told you lose so you can hold on to your lottery pick. The top 6 protected pick. And you got the perfect excuse because Paul George, he's injured. He's not healthy all year, even if he's been on the court sometimes. Joel Embiid, when did he look good this year? When was he moving in will this year? Well, this year. It has not been the case. Lose, Smith continued. Sit Joel Embiid for the rest of the season. Sit Paul George while you're at it and just be done with it. And prepare for the next 3 years because this season is a joke. We've shown no sign of a team that will compete. We just don't have the habits of a champion or a playoff contending team. Would have. To be honest, it's a little far-fetched. That's Paul George. When we talk about the money perspective and we're looking into this 2025-26 season, Tristan, Joel Embiid, the Sixers will own over 33.6% of the 76ers cap space over the next 4 years. He has played in just 19 games this year and 39 games in 2023 and 24. He is under contract until 2029. By the numbers, if we break that down, $55.2 million. That's 2025-26 season salary, full and guaranteed. $59.5 million. That's 2026-27 season, fully guaranteed. $64.3 million. That's 2027-28 season, fully guaranteed. $69.1 million he'll get 28-29 season, fully guaranteed. He's owed $248.1 million over the next 4 seasons, Tristan. Starting 5, Tyrese Maxey, Jerry McClain, Kelly Oubre, Paul George, Joel Embiid. None of them are two-way, Tristan. We got a bunch of reserves. We got some free agents. If we're looking into the salary of this offseason form, $186 million they got. $187.8 million is their tax threshold. First apron, $195.9 million. Second apron, $207.8 million. That includes the first round. Now, when we talked about this team early in the season, Tyrese Maxey was calling out Joel Embiid about being late to just team meetings. Then next thing you know, Joel Embiid's calling everybody out, talking about how he's put his body on the line and how dare everybody talk about him. Now it ain't even looking like playoff P. Where you been? Now we're looking at a team that's not even in the conversation of being in the echelon in the Eastern Conference. You're a half game out of the play-in. Where they do that at, and you're supposed to be in Philadelphia. We're talking about this process. It's an ongoing process. It's gone. You said a couple of weeks ago, Tristan, that Joel Embiid might go down as the biggest big man flop that never happened like it was supposed to happen. Do you still believe that? How do we feel about the Sixers?
I believe that Josh Harris is glad that he owns the Commanders and not just the Sixers, because he'd be a very depressed man. The process been over for a long time. Joel Embiid, it ain't gonna get better, bro. Your body don't get better when you get older like that. Like, you ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? You ain't Benjamin Button. Like, it's just not. It just hasn't panned. It's going to be one of the great, probably tragic stories of a player because when he's right, he arguably could be the best player in basketball when he's right. But he ain't never right. I mean, we were heartbroken about Greg Oden. I might put this right up there with that. Like, it's always been something. And the Sixers have invested so much around him. You know, you go down the list: Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, James Harden, Jimmy Butler. You know, now you got Tyrese Maxey, who's the future. You probably got to start thinking of rebuilding the team to be around Tyrese Maxey. I mean, you gotta, when you think about it, it's what what else can you do, or how much can you stay with this? You know, and it just may be time to eventually just pull the plug. And I mean, I'm not talking about like cut him or anything, but Sixers fans got to deal with the reality that this is not what it used to be.
Hmm.
This was not what it was supposed to be, and it's never going to be what it was supposed to be. This is we've reached the time now where we need to start moving forward and thinking beyond Joel Embiid. And again, I'm not saying like you got to cut him tomorrow, but you just need to really think of a future with Joel Embiid not being the centerpiece of your team. Because when is it going to be right? Look, he's getting older. When is it going to be good? It's not.
Where do we assess Paul George's time on this team? Because this is supposed to be something big. He's been injury ridden. Again, playoff P, we haven't seen it. He's supposed to be taking over. He's supposed to be kind of sort of taking over. That has not happened. How do we
Nope.
look at him and his time here? Because it could be a lot
A
about
dud.
Joel, but he's
A
supposed to
dud.
be the star.
A dud.
So
A dud.
everybody just taking the L.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, playoff P ain't really been playoff P for real since OKC. If we really being honest,
I thought you was
we.
a rapper. Look at you.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we want to be honest about it, I mean, it ain't like he was making a whole bunch of noise with the Clippers. So we ain't seen that version of Paul George in some years. So I mean, you just kind of put injury with injury with when it comes to Joel Embiid and Paul George. They both always got something ailing them. Though your best player is Tyrese Maxey
Yeah.
because he's the most reliable on the floor.
You got the young guy calling y'all out.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't know what the Sixers can do because you just rattled off the cap hit. His contract warrants on that team. I don't know what they could do. Nothing's worked. You've paired him with
You
everybody
can't
in the
even get a
league.
tax break off that one.
You've paired him with everybody except for Steph Curry, LeBron, and KD. Like you've paired him with everyone, and it has not come to pass.
We go from a team that seems to be in their seasons a little bit in shambles and we're trying to worry about their future to a young team, but they lost their coach and their star in the same year. Greg Popovich, we go to the Spurs. He is not to return this season due to health issues. We all know that he suffered a stroke November 2nd, a mild stroke before a game against the Wolves. The Hall of Fame coach not returning this season, and his NBA future is uncertain as he recovers from that stroke. League sources told ESPN's Shams Charania this was Saturday. The latest developments provide some closure during what has turned into a difficult season for the San Antonio Spurs, which Thursday last announced plans to shut down franchise Super Bowl Victor Wembanyama after he was diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. Popovich and Wembanyama have been in close contact the past few days, sources told Sharania. The coach has been hands-on in communicating and providing guidance in the wake of Wembanyama's diagnosis. Popovich, we know he ain't shabby, Tristan, is the NBA's winningest coach with 1,412 regular season victories and another 170 in postseason to go with 5 championships, 3 Coaches of the Year awards, 1 Olympic gold medal. Popovich, who has coached the Spurs since the 1996-97 season, turned 76 in January and is the oldest coach in NBA history. In 2020, he passed the previous record held by Hubie Brown, who was 71 when he coached his final game with the Memphis Grizzlies. Assistant Mitch Johnson was moved into the head coach role on an interim basis, and he has posted a 2027 record in leading the young Spurs. When the club first named Johnson acting head coach, it did so with plans for Popovich to eventually return. Pop released a statement in December thanking the community, the Spurs organization, and friends for their outpouring of support. Kristen, we go back with the Spurs, especially if you've been a Laker fan. Kobe in interviews talking about the one team that bothered me was the Spurs. And you're talking about Tim Duncan. You're talking about Manu Ginobili. You're talking about Tony Parker. You're talking about David Robinson. You're talking about all these guys that just wreaked havoc and were consistent. Not not brash, not talking. They just won, and that's
Hmm.
what you think of Greg Popovich. In the same year, the Spurs have lost Wembanyama and they lost Coach Pop. If this is the last we see of Pop, if he's not able to, unfortunately, come back and we see him on the court again, how do you remember his storied coaching career? And when you think about it, you got to put him in the same context. If we're talking about the '90s on down into the millennial years, him and Phil Jackson, you got to start thinking of that conversation. Where do you put him at the top echelon of coaches? Red Auerbachs, and how much is Wembenyama, if he's gone, his development, is it going to suffer because of him? And who's the coach that would you look at to move this young guy forward? Let's talk about the Spurs.
I would hate to be a coach to follow Popovich.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate it, but if he decides to call it a career in his coaching, a heck of a career, Hall of Fame coach, definitely in the top five, maybe top three coaches of all time in NBA history. You mentioned Red Auerbach, um, Phil, like you said, Phil Jackson. Um, some people like to put Pat Riley in that conversation. Um, but when you think of for our generation, it
Yeah,
was Phil Jackson and Phil Jackson, and I would say he's the GOAT coach. When I think of the Spurs, what I think of having Manu and Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, and those Spurs dynasty, and David Robinson, and then going post the big three with the Spurs, and having Kawhi, and just trying to move forward and trying to have a young team still being relatable to the younger players. Um, he made a lot of average players look great just by inspiring them to play above themselves. Um, it just then you got to think of all the stuff he stood for
yeah,
off the court. I mean, it's just you talk about a man's man. Um, truly, when we always talk about head coaches, one of the first things phrases we say, and I always say is it's not a cliche because it's true. But can you be a leader of men? Can you be a leader of men? And Popovich is definitely one of them ones, as we say, to be a leader of men. Um, I think the fact of the stresses of the NBA, the stresses of coaching, trying to get the Spurs back into relevance as far as competitiveness and things of that nature. I think for the sake of his health, I would love to see him retire.
yeah.
Um,
Because this is
just
not by choice. We
it,
see.
exactly. So I would love to see him retire just for the sake of his health. As a fan, I would hate to see him go because you just don't get a lot of coaches like
No.
that. Um, but you know, awesome career again, Hall of Fame. I probably put him top three, top five, top three coaches all time. Um, yeah, he's amazing. He's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'll always remember his interviews with Craig Sager. God rest his soul.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you would think as a reporter he's giving you a tough time, and that's a hard interview to get. But the respect he had for Craig after he passed was just beautiful.
He Pop is an amazing human being. Like he's someone that I wish I could just sit and just talk to. No cameras, no nothing. I just want to have a conversation with him for sure. So if this is the end of the line for coaching for Pop, enjoy retirement.
Yeah,
Uh, the game will miss you. We'll miss you as fans, but you spend time with your family. We all remember what happened with his wife a couple years back. Things that so spend time with your family, your grandbabies, and all that stuff. Enjoy your life because we only get one,
yeah,
and we don't want to see anything happen to you because you have nothing to prove as far as being one of the greatest coaches of all time. You've accomplished everything you could possibly accomplish in your professional career.
We do
You
a
go
lot
ahead,
of talking on this show, okay? I like
I'm about to say, don't make
it.
you go ahead. Don't make me get because I'll get real sentimental. Don't.
Wembanyama, what does this do for him?
Man, listen. One, I'm so glad they caught it. Let's
Yeah,
let's put that first. So glad they caught it. They could have traveled anywhere, and we could have be having a whole different conversation. So thank God that they caught it. Man, I hope it's something that they can work through and figure out.
yeah,
I know he's going to be part of the reason they shut him down for the season because they got to put him on blood thinners. When that kind of stuff happens, and when you're on blood thinners, any minor cut could become something major.
yeah.
Um, so I understand that, but hopefully, um, working with the doctors and all that stuff, they can get it situated because I mean, um, you would hate to see his career be short.
Yeah,
I think we all can think about Chris Bosh
yeah.
and how he just kind of had to abruptly stop playing. So I hope that take the season off, and I hope he can come back better than ever. Wimby is a true unicorn, and we've yet to see even the best of him. So I would love to see him return back into form for sure.
I was more. I'm not that I say I'm not impressed of the work he's done in America, but the way that young man put on for his country and crying like a baby when they lost, because it's a difference when you got your
It's
country
different.
on you.
It's different. It's different when you care.
Yeah.
It's different when
Another
you care.
conversation about caring in the National Basketball Association. You're tuned into your favorite sports podcast, Roaming the Airways, Rolling with Ramos, episode 143. Shout out to Black History Month because it's about us. 8 years of this thing. Thank you, America. We move on, Tristan, to another team that play well, but they can't seem to play well against the elite in the league. The New York Knicks' aspirations of being a legitimate contender have taken a serious hit as they continue to falter against the NBA's elite. With their latest loss to the Boston Celtics a couple of days ago, the Knicks are now 0-7 against the top three teams in the league, that being the Oklahoma City Thunder, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Boston Celtics. Even more concerning is the way they have been losing, as their average margin of defeat in these games stands at a staggering 20.1 points per game, indicating that they are thoroughly being outclassed every time. Against the Thunder, the Knicks fell 117 to 107 on January 3rd before being completely blown out 126 to 101 in their rematch January 10th. Cleveland handed them a 110-104 loss back on October 28th, but the real disaster came on February 21st when the Cavaliers demolished them by 37 points in a 142-105 rout. Against the Celtics, the trend has no different. They lost this season opener 132 to 109 on October 22nd, suffered another crushing defeat 131 to 104 February 8th, and then once again came up short with a 118-105 loss on February 23rd. Despite their strong 37-20 record, which places them third in the Eastern Conference, their inability to compete with the best teams raises serious concern. Every other team that hopes to make a deep playoff run has had at least one victory against the top three. Are they just a regular season thing, the Knickerbockers? Are they still trying to figure out and getting together? Don't be so crazy on them. Playoffs ain't even here yet.
Honestly, Knicks fans just gotta relax, man. This is the growing pains. You gotta learn how to win. You gotta learn how to win. These are learning moments. Now, let me say it like this. This could be either the story of your season, or this could be a learning moment that's gonna pay dividends in the playoffs. When you're in these tight games and you gotta have it moments, is when Brunson, Carl Anthony Towns, this is y'all time to be the them dudes, and show up when it's at its best, when it's at its brightest. This is the moments. So I think they're just going through their growing pains right now of figuring out how to be that kind of winner. When the expectation is on you to be good, to be great.
Yeah.
Um, so I think they'll figure it out. I think they got enough of a mentality to figure that out. And I would say watch out for them in the playoffs in these kind of situations and see how the maturity is on that.
The Knicks are dogs. So we know when it comes to the loose balls and all that, they're scrappy. This ain't over. This ain't over. The regular season whole, we talk about Oklahoma City. We know what they do in the regular season. We know what they do in the playoffs.
Right.
So that verdict is still out too. We're closing with something because all the goats gotta go. There's somebody they gotta go. But do you ever think that they actually are gonna go? And
Nah, not till it
we were
happens.
supposed to talk about Unrivaled today. Of course, we've talked about Unrivaled in general. We've put it in different parameters. We love what the women are doing, but we saw this news. It wasn't even about what 3-4 hours ago,
Nope.
and it was an emoji face. I was like, "This what?" Saw something online. The only way to stop her was to wait for the end. If you a defense, you can't do nothing about this. DT, Diana Taurasi.
That's
The
it.
Kobe proclaimed
That's it.
female Mamba saying she's saying goodbye to the game of basketball. This was her in time today. I just didn't have it in me. That was pretty much when I knew it was time to walk away. My scoring record or the 6 gold medals, someone's going to come around that has the same hunger. I don't know about the 6. The same addiction to basketball and put those records in a different way, a different name. That's what sports is all about. That's going to be fun to watch. She says, hopefully, it's not soon. 20 years in the WNBA, Tristan. We've seen the team she's been on. 11-time WNBA All-Star, 3-time WNBA champion, 2-time WNBA Finals MVP, 10-time All WNBA first team. All NBA first. 10 times. She's been in the league 20 years. 6-time Olympic gold medalist, 5 WNBA scoring champion. UConn. I'm in Connecticut now. Don't get no better than Diana Taurasi. I saw a video of her earlier today. They're talking about all the stuff she's talking about. Brittany Griner goes down in the game. The reporter asks her about Brittany Griner. She says she need to get up. We still got some work to do. We're talking about Unrivaled. The stuff people think about at the wrong time. Because wow, would we have loved to see her in this. She's hanging them up, Tristan. Damn. Florida Evans, damn.
Listen, I'm honestly sad, and shout outs to our viewers been commenting all night, man.
Yeah, shout out to y'all.
And them saying UConn, and that's right. Like when I think of as amazing her career is, right, in the WNBA. When I think of DT, when I think of Diana Taurasi, the White Mamba, I think of her at UConn winning the championship and her doing this with her jersey with UConn all caps. That's what's imprinted in my head of DT. And she's one of the last of the Mohegans. And what I mean by that is that throwback. As soon as I step on the floor, my job is to destroy you. It's to make you regret even coming in front of me with a basketball. Like that,
thinking
the
you can
WNBA
guard
still,
me.
exactly. Like the WNBA is still tough, but there was tough, and then there was Diana Taurasi. And we talked about it off air, man. I feel like last year kind of gave that feel because you were saying that, with rightfully so. It would have been nice to see her come and get her farewell tour.
Yeah,
like if you had to pick, if you had to pick a player that deserved that, it's her. You know what I'm saying? But it kind of felt like that last year. It kind of felt like that to me last year, even though she was still competing and all that stuff. But it just felt like this was it. And what I respect is the fact she said, "I just didn't have it," and people might be trying to figure out what the it is. Listen, the girl can still play.
Yeah.
The girl can still score. What do you mean by it? It's the white mamba, that killer will. That I think was starting to fade away. And when she's like, "You're not about to see that version of me on the floor. I'd rather step away and let y'all just remember for me for what I've done and who I was on the floor." And I respect that. Too many times I think we see some of our favorite athletes play way past their prime.
Yeah.
And we want them to just, hey man, it's okay. Like you got nothing to prove. You know, Diana is one. She ain't got nothing to prove. She ain't
Mm.
got nothing to prove. And the fact that the WNBA is in great hands because we have Caitlin Clark, we got um Angel Reese, we still got Kelsey Plum, we got Asia Wilson, who is the face of the WNBA, and my boo, Bam, you lucky, because that's my boo.
Fellas,
But
that's how you support, okay? I'm wearing my girl's
listen,
sneaker. What's
listen,
wrong with
I,
you?
I I can't wait for the
Again,
summer.
that's
I'm
another
probably getting
show.
I'm probably getting two, three pairs. I'm probably getting two, three pairs when the summer comes around. They drop, but that's neither here nor there. Diana Taurasi, again, Hall of Famer, last of the Mohegans, the White Mamba. We said it off air. The only thing that would make it more fitting was if Kobe
I
was
wanted
still
a
alive.
farewell tour.
Yeah,
I
I
wanted a
get
fair,
it. I get
but
it.
in a league where you say, hey, these greats are gonna leave someday, and we used to be afraid of that in the WNBA. Go on, enjoy your long standing vacation, Diana. You
WNBA is
deserve it.
WNBA is in great hands. We ain't got to worry about that. They still competing, still feisty out there. So, like you said, enjoy your retirement. We'll definitely miss watching her play, but I'm pretty sure she's gonna be on somebody's camera because that personality is too great. She's gonna be on somebody's camera talking about the WNBA, talking about how she could still
She'll
smoke
be up
half
here
these
in
girls on the
Connecticut in a
floor.
minute.
Yeah,
She'll be having her Tracy McGrady moment. What you was
that
doing at 26, averaging 30.
averaging 30. Exactly, exactly.
To
So
when she
shout
got
shout outs
drafted
to
and they
her.
were talking to her and they were like, they're looking at you as the face of the league now. And
Shout outs to
she
her.
and she stood there and looked like me. Like, yeah, you. We have to say goodbye to Diana Taurasi, and that's sad. That I didn't expect that news today. I did not expect that news today. I look forward to the jersey hoisting in Phoenix because Phoenix looking like they're trying to change the parameters of their team too and
Yeah, yeah.
figure out the next wave. So shout out to that ponytail and that bun. Shout out, shout
That
out
bun.
to shout out to Diana Taurasi. And shout out to us because we end 8 years. Normally we saw I'm not close. I can't hug you. I can't get it. We normally go. We used to go out to dinner for stuff like this. Get a cupcake.
You need to bring your butt
I'm
back to the
working on it.
DMV.
I'm working on it. But shout out to you guys for always listening. Shout out to our logo. Shout out to Mike Ramos all the time, every day. Hey, Dad, thank you for being the face. Thank you for giving me something to give people. And I'm gonna say it like I say every week. It does not rhyme if but it's still mine. I don't give a damn what you're saying. It's my show. I can do what I want. I'm a girl like Kevin McHale. We'll see you guys next week. Well, no, we don't know when you will see you. We might take a little break, but we'll see you. And thank you, truly, thank you, Tristan.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Continue to do so. Follow us on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe, share, let people know we out here, and we're back. We're getting back into the swing of things with the show. So we got a lot of stuff coming up this year that's going to be amazing. Mikkel, thank you for being the visionary for the show and for keeping your due diligence to keep this thing alive, and we're grateful to be rolling with you. So appreciate
Peace.
y'all.